Okay, so welcome guys to the Ibrahim and Kai podcast. This is the 27th podcast, I believe. Is it?
Yeah, 27 episodes.
And we're planning to make 30 before the end of the year. I'm not sure if we can do that, but let's just try to do it.
Hopefully we can catch that.
So today we have a very special guest. We have a guest from Kosova, a filmmaker, also a photographer, one of my good friends. And today we're gonna first talk about a little bit of his background, and then we will cut into a very interesting topic that we're gonna reveal it soon. So welcome to the show, Agon.
Thank you for inviting
me.
Welcome,
Agon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys.
So I think the most interesting about you is that you are from Kosova, and I've been there once. And if you say, not in a bad way, but like it's a very like a nature friendly place. Like we see mostly very organic stuff over there. Like
for sure.
Not much technology going on.
Yeah, but I guess we are improving. I don't know. But you came here and you saw how it is. So it's up to you to decide how it is, right? It's better when you see it from outside. But overall, I think it's really good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
besides the economic situation.
Oh man, like the thing is, you guys have these film festivals over there as well.
Yeah, we do. One of the most famous one is called Dokufest. That happens in Prizren. It's actually a documentary and film festival, kind of mixed, and it's been going on for more than 20 years. And
really?
Yeah, and there are over 256 movies shown every year, and there are people from all around. It's international.
Is it like a very competitive film festival? Like people really want to get in, and the movies are very of high standard, or
yes, like I don't know if it's like the highest standard, but I can tell you this: the movies that win the best prize in Dokufest, they directly get nominated for BAFTA, the film festival in UK. Yeah.
So like you win, you immediately go to BAFTA.
Yeah. You immediately go to BAFTA.
I didn't know that, man. That's quite crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of famous actors joining the festival also.
There have been some, but it's pretty good. I suggest you guys, Kai knows, I always talk to him. I always talk to him about it, and I always invite him. So I invite you too, Ibrahim. I think you both should come.
You.
It will be amazing because there are films from 12 p.m. and to 12 a.m. So it's 12 hours films every day. And
every day.
Oh
my god! So these guys keep accepting films, yeah?
Yeah, and it lasts.
And do
8
people
days.
keep going there?
What?
Is it for 7 days a week?
It's 8 days.
8 days.
It's 8 days, and there's music at night, and there are workshops. There are photographers who come.
Oh, so that's during the festival. That's during the festival. It's not every day. Every day.
It's every day actually, but there are also other stuff going on besides just showing films. And there are 5 stages where you can go and watch. So they also arrange one film is shown 2 or 3 times, so everybody can watch all of the films.
That's quite cool, man.
Yeah, it's really good, and the atmosphere is amazing. But yeah, I definitely.
I'm actually really curious though, the fact that such a big film festival is held in Kosovo. Does the film festival really affected Kosovar people, their perspective on film?
Are people more interested in film now?
Yeah. Did it bring up the whole culture?
That definitely. Actually, this year was Kosovo's golden year in cinematography, I can say. There is a short film called Displaced by Samir Karahoda, and he works at Dokufest, and Dokufest is the reason he did this film, and he got nominated in more than 15 festivals. He won the best prize at Toronto Festival. He was nominated in Cannes. Also, there is Dokufest inspired a lot of young generations to make films. Also, there is another film called Hive, which became an international boom, should I say. It won 3 prizes at Sundance Festival, and including Best Director.
I think I've heard of it. Is it a doc or?
No, it's a film. It's a film. Its name is Hive.
I've heard of it. I'm sure I heard of it. I think someone shared it on Facebook.
Oh, bro, I thought it's Turkish.
No, no. It's
what?
from Kosovo. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's Albanian, bro. I've seen the trailers. I was like, holy shit, this is like a sick film, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, bro.
So which city is from?
She's from Pristina, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But the story goes on at a village, and it's about how it's right. The timeline is right after the war, and how kind of women were oppressed in the villages, and they had no rights. But there is this woman who fights against it. But I'm not gonna spoil the rest, so I suggest you guys
go and watch it.
Yeah.
I guess like when people are like, when you have a city that there are a lot of people who like, there's this culture of cinema and culture of filmmaking, and a lot of people come. I think it raises a lot of people who are interested in cinema, and raises a lot of filmmakers from the city. You know, because like you said, like the people would watch the filmmaker who did that film, you know, and they would be inspired by him. A lot of people from Kosovo, from that area would watch it and be like, you know, I want to be like that guy because it's very relevant to me. You know, he grew up in the same city, and it's always like this when you find a city or a place or an area that has a lot of that thing. A lot of people come up to be interested in it. You know.
Yes.
So if there's a you know, like a city that is known for basketball or for football, then a lot of people would be inspired by that, and it would raise a lot of you know, a lot of kids from that area want to grow up to be like the people who are good.
Definitely,
thing, you know?
because like, you know, Kosovo doesn't have a really good economy and, should I say, living standards as the ones in Europe do, and it didn't have a huge cinema background. So people once this happened, because there are like 3 or 4 more films that actually won prizes in different types of festivals, but I'm not gonna go through all of them. Just want to say that it showed that, or it gave a hope to people that, you know, also you can also do something with cinema and not give up. Yeah. So it wasn't actually, as you said.
Yeah.
And
also one more thing is competition. Sorry, 100%, dude. And I was gonna add, like, it's also competition, you know, when a lot of the people from your area are raised up, you know, learning about cinematography and learning about filmmaking, and it raises this kind of competition that people want to improve more and more, right?
Definitely.
Between each other. But like the list that you have, that like the reason people, for instance, go to New York is because of the competition. One of the reasons, actually, because there's a lot of, like, one of the best peoples in the world are in that area, whether that is in filmmaking and a lot of other industries. So you go there and you kind of get in the mood, right, with other people, and you learn from them, right?
I'm actually really curious, how does Kosovar people even learn about filmmaking stuff? Like, do they get inspired by Hollywood, or you guys have your own, like, a little society that like club or something that people exchange ideas and stuff, or just learn from the internet?
That's a really nice question, I think. The thing is, I think Dokufest is like, it had a huge impact on people because you don't really see blockbuster movies there. Like, you see experimental documentaries, experimental films, and we also have 2 more places besides Dokufest. There are 2 more cinemas. One cinema is called Lombardi, and the other one is called Kino Armata. And every week, sometimes twice a week, they play a film, either an old film or something, you know, that is not very, very popular. And I think that's one of the things that shaped people who are interested in films, because we see stuff that we have never heard about before. For example, we watch a film from, I don't know, Japan, or we watch a film from Indonesia, like like people usually are driven, as you said, Kai, towards Hollywood films and towards the what's mainstream stuff. Yeah. So I think the variety of films, because of these communities, are one of the reasons why Kosovo has kind of created its own style, should I say. But of course, I mean, there is a huge influence from Hollywood and stuff. But I think our way of storytelling is kind of has a different approach, also because of the background. I mean, yeah.
Oh, but what about the technical side of things, though? Like, where do they learn about like camera? Is there any film school over there?
Actually, Dokufest has a film school, but it's for it's not a school. They go to schools and let's say once a week or twice a week, and they teach people about camera, teach about that's usually high school students, not the master classes or anything. But what I can tell you is this: I can tell you how I learned about it. It's with friends while watching films and while being interested in technical stuff. There is not a specific field or a specific place where you can learn about technical stuff here. But we have internet now, and people here, it's so interesting how fast they adapt or they grab something new and then they execute it. So I think it's just people's interest that drives them to learning about technical stuff that you're saying.
You have film schools though, right? Do you have film schools or?
We have a filmmaking department. It's actually not filmmaking, it's directing, writing and directing department in University of Pristina, and there are some private universities as well. Now they opened actually visual communication and design now.
Okay,
nice.
Yeah, and but nothing technical about it. It's always whoever is interested in one thing, they're gonna do their thing.
Do you think it's any good? Is it how good? Is it very good, or how much? Are the instructors experienced and or is it just there for the sake of being there?
I think they are trying. I mean, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know because I wasn't a part of them.
Yeah.
But
I understand.
I can say one thing about that. I think also the way cinema functioned till now here, it was also in kind of a bubble. Sometimes you get into a bubble and you cannot see what's outside. So it was Kosovo's students and cinema was is always stuck in the same place. It's
a lot of the movies are similar, right?
Yeah, although the story is different, they all kind of
the style is kind of
yeah, but it's not I don't know. I don't like it personally at all. That's why I was kind of really surprised with what I saw with Displaced and Hive. Hive had a bit of those elements, the usual elements that I just mentioned inside the bubble. But I think they are acceptable. They were on point. But all the movies that I saw till now, I was kind of disappointed because I saw no storytelling. Yeah, no breakthrough at all. But I think that's a way to improve.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The elements that you said that's repeating among all of the Kosovar filmmaker, is it a storytelling, or is it for example, we all make fun of film school student, they always shoot suicidal related short films and stuff. Every film department you'll see something. Is it something like that, the theme, or is it they talk about Kosovar people need to do this or need to do that? The message, is it the message of the story, or is it the storytelling style?
It's also the storytelling style, and one of the reason I'm saying this, for example, almost 90% of our movies have war included inside. Like, it's all after the war. They always show, how they struggled in war, and like, it's war. And I get it, and I think it should be used because that's our strongest key to do something, right? But
exactly.
After a while, it gets really cheesy, and
just overused. Huh? It's being abused.
Yeah, it's overused, and I think the actors are like. Sometimes I feel like the camera angles, like they make the actors look bad while shooting a film, and I think those are also kind of a problem. I didn't like editing that much, like besides these films that I mentioned. Look, all of these I'm saying are before I saw Hive and Displaced. Like, let's make that clear. Yeah. So it's this, and basically it's that, and because it doesn't feel organic.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the I feel like this kind of style, right? The similarity in style exists in a lot of countries. Like if you look at Turkey, for instance, there's like, from what I've seen, the students' films always had a certain style that they all followed, or you kind of see that repetitive shape in filming their stories, and I feel like that exists in every city to a certain extent.
Definitely.
Because and what ends up happening most of the times is that somebody makes something that is successful, and a lot of the people follow that, right? And that person kind of sets the standards, right? And a lot of people try to follow that, and that's where you find a lot of the similarities in movies.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, definitely. I agree.
Yeah, so yeah.
Well, yeah.
But it's
speaking about point. Movie, I'm wondering, should we transit to the next section of this episode, or is there anything you want to add on?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
Ibrahim, is there anything you want to add?
Bro, let's roll.
Okay, so the topic that I didn't mention earlier is that we're gonna talk about movies. Since me and Agon, we always talk about movies, like. Yeah. And there's a very interesting that me and Agon we did actually, Ibrahim. Like, we did only once, but I really liked it. It's like we watched a film through Discord. So Agon, he live streamed a movie, and then we basically just watched together through the stream. And then so we can talk to each other while we watch it. That was actually kind of fun.
But you joined only once.
Man, dude, the time zone is really hard to match, man.
I kept doing that for 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
Not anymore, but if you're interested, yeah, sure, we can go for it. Yeah.
But that was really fun there. Like, we shared idea, and then after, like, for example, Agon always, like, he watched a movie and then he tell me to watch it, and then I say I'm gonna watch it, and you
never do.
And then man, I am trying. There are some movies that I did watch. Okay, but anyway, let's just cut into the topic. Okay, we're gonna talk about movies that we watched 5, 10 times, maybe even 20 times. Like, there's this one movie that Agon, he watched probably more than anyone else, and we're gonna talk about why. What's the interesting thing about this film, or is there anything that you feel very related? That's why you like to watch it this much, huh, Agon? Maybe you want to be like the main character or something like that. I don't know. But we'll see about that. Okay, so I think since you're the guest, we're gonna let you go first, and then just talk us through the film. What is this film about? How many times you watched it, first of all?
Okay, so the film that I watched more than 11 times in a week and more than 20 times in my life. It's called Bronson. I don't know if you heard of it, Ibrahim. I know Kai has.
No, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, I watched it because Agon forced me to watch it. So
I forced everybody to watch it.
Yeah, I watched it in your house, I remember.
Yeah, and Bronson is a film about this character who is based on a true character, by the way. He is a prisoner in UK, and he was basically he had a psychopath character. He was beating everyone. He had no mercy for anyone. He just that's who he was. And the film was made like according to his life, kind of, but of course with minor changes. And it was made by Nicolas Winding Refn. He's a Danish director, and the main character is Bronson, or Michael Peterson, played by Tom Hardy. But what Kai is saying is actually true. Like, one of the reasons why I got really attached to this film is because I love acting, and that film changed like everything for me. Like, the acting in that film is on another level. Like, I've never seen such beautiful acting, because how he shifts, his stages of acting, and how he controls himself and improvises. I was stunned by that. But other than that, it's another way of storytelling. It's kind of not direct. The messages are in the visuals, and the director gives you the space to think, or to, like when something happens, the director doesn't directly tell you, but it lets it to your imagination, so you choose how the thing is. Like, this is also one of the reasons why I was so impressed with the storytelling. And also, like, how the characters behind, like, the characters other than the main character, their acting is actually really stiff. Like, they don't act, it's like they're frozen, and the main character is the guy who acts actually all the time. And it's a really unique storytelling, and I couldn't believe when I saw it for the first time. I haven't seen such thing before, so that's why.
I'm really curious though, like from the first time you watch it, like if you watch the second or third time, like every time you watch it, is there anything that you see differently, or is there like, did it change your perspective or something every time you watch it?
Every time I watched it, I started noticing stuff. Like, for example, let's say if I watched it for the first 2 or 3 times, I was focusing in the acting, but then I was focusing in the environment and what's going on.
Yeah.
And it really changed my perspective on showing things visually, not only with words. And that's one of the things that I like the most about this director. Now I started analyzing the things in the background. I started analyzing the small details that were put there. Of let's say, for example, the focus is in the main character and the background is kind of blurry. But I still, there is a meaning to what's in the background. And because the visual storytelling was really strong. And I wouldn't have noticed that if I haven't watched it so many times. Because once you analyze one thing, you proceed to the next thing. And this was the next thing I started analyzing. And I think visual storytelling is a really, really role key to the actual storytelling. And that's why actually this might be a bit unrelated, but there's a game called Dark Souls, and the creator of it is Miyazaki. And why I love Hidetaka Miyazaki, why I love the game, is because of how story functions. Like, there's no such story like, hey, you should go there to do this, to do that, to do that. But you connect the story yourself according to how the characters in the video game talk. Like, let's say this A character and B character are siblings, right? But the game doesn't show you that. You have to figure it out from the dialogue, from their own dialogue,
So there's like hints through the dialogue, but they don't make it clear. Like, and actually, I'm just gonna cut through real quick. Like, I heard it from one of the directors. They say don't underestimate the intelligence of your audience. Like don't feed them the content. Let them figure out the content themselves. Which is what you're talking about.
It's kind of the 2+2 rule, right? So one of the I think the directors he said don't give people 4, give them a 2+2. I think it's Hitchcock maybe, and let them figure out the 4, right?
Exactly.
So don't. Yeah, so people feel smart, not feel smart, but like.
But I guess there's like an interaction because like you're taking something out of the film, you make it you form into another information and you digest it yourself.
And there's more pleasure in that, right?
Definitely. Like it's also the same. Like I played the game like 7 or 8 times, and each time I played the game, I saw something new that I haven't seen before. And I'm talking about the storytelling, right? Because let's not get out of the theme that much. But I think it's really related with the films. Because films are the visual storytellers, right? And I think that's the reason, as you said, you don't give 4 directly. You just go 2+2. And that's what Bronson gave me, I think. That's where I started to like, hinted storytelling rather than direct saying something.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I think like everything that you said there is just on point about like the visual storytelling, and like it goes back to the idea of like show don't tell, right?
Exactly.
Like, show me something, don't tell me how it is,
Exactly.
This applies to all the visual arts and especially motion picture.
Definitely, and I think because like when you discover that, oh, I didn't know this, like you discover it, right? and the excitement is even more higher than if it would be directly told to you, right? So you get even more excited when you find out, and it feels more mysterious, everything. And I think that's what drives people, or what makes the quality in storytelling. I think. Yeah.
Truly. So Kai.
Oh yeah,
let's roll to you.
Before I go mine, I'm really curious, Agon, if you're gonna watch like a 21st time, are you gonna watch it again, Bronson?
I watched it actually. Because I did in the place where I'm working. We made these Wednesday movie nights. Yeah. And every time after work, and every Wednesday after work, we started watching films, and I said, "Hey, you have to watch Bronson. I don't care." And I just I played the film. Yeah. So it was the 21st time, I guess.
Okay, so I think if I review my film, I'm gonna get bullied so hard, but I think it's an interesting way of seeing it. So the film that I've been watching it since I was a child, so I think it's fair. Okay. The film that I watched the most, and it's a series, it has a total of. Okay, so this is it's like a, what do you call it? It has multiple films. It has 8 films in total.
I know which one. Oh my god! Yeah, okay. I know which one you're talking about.
It's Harry Potter. I watched Harry Potter more than any films, because I watched it since I was in primary school. I remember like the first time. But there's one thing that I really want to focus on, and I'm sure you will agree with me. Like the reason why I felt I really liked Harry Potter, and I watched it all the way until even until university. I always watch from the first one all the way to the 7th. Like I always watch, like I do a marathon. And the thing that attracted me the most was the fact that the whole movie is about magic, but you've always feel so connected to the main character rather than the magic. Like for me at least, like I really care about what the main character's growth, like how his struggle, like his friend, his family and stuff. But rather than the magic, kind of is like the brand, the packaging of it. But and also like another great example is the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. I feel like most people say that they like it the most, but they didn't really say why they like it. For me, it's because I feel like the new Spider-Man with like Tom Holland and Andrew Andrew Garfield, they're all very good actors. But I feel like the directors, they focus on the visual effects way more than the character development. And that's why I really like all Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire is also one of my favorite films. I probably watch it also like 20 times. So these are the type of movie that I really like. I like these fictional movie, like this fantasy movie, but they really focus on the development on the character instead of just putting so much visual effects. I like that balance. You know, I like the fact that there's visual effects, but there's enough, like, how do I say, like, most of the storytelling is still about the character himself. And if you look at I don't know if you watched the Fantastic Beast. It's also the after like Harry Potter. Oh, it was like a prequel of Harry Potter. That one I just didn't like it because it's just all about visual effects, and the actors are good, but I just didn't feel it. And the visual effects is even better than the original Harry Potter. And another one is like Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is like full of beast and magic and stuff, but it's amazing. It's all about like their journey into doing something where they find is meaningful, like is important to do. These are the type of films that I personally really enjoy. But Harry Potter probably is because I watched it since I was a kid. That's why it's the film that I watched the most.
Look, I think I agree with you, and it's not something that to laugh about that you like Harry Potter, because I also love Harry Potter, but I think the way they used visual effects, it's really organic to a point that it makes it feel really, really real, right? For that world. But I can say, for example, for the new movies that you say, there are so many visual effects and people are focused on visual effects, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where it starts not becoming organic at all.
Start to crack.
And it just ruins the mood.
Why the original Harry Potter, the visual effect, like I 100% agree with you. Like I've noticed that, and I don't know why the old Harry Potter's visual effects seems more organic than the new one. Like I feel like the new one is like over polished. It's like overly polished, the visual effects.
Definitely, yeah.
Like there's something that I did notice though.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's money, right? When you gain a lot of, like when there's a lot of revenue that comes from the movie, they would think that by increasing the production quality, we would like make it better. But people didn't like it because of the production quality. Perhaps they liked it because of the, like you said, Kai, like the character development. Like the people in the movie are rich. The characters themselves are rich. So I don't know, like maybe perhaps that's...
Which is funny because the director is the same. And like David Yates is the director of all of this Harry Potter movie. True. But for some reason it's just maybe he changed, as a person. But anyways, like this, like I'm going to jump to Ibrahim because we don't have a lot of time for the episode. So you said you didn't watch any film more than 5 times actually. But is there any film that you really...
I haven't watched, but there's a movie that I really like, and it's one of my favorite films actually. And it's have you guys do you guys know about Tarkovsky?
Of course.
Andrei Tarkovsky, yeah. Kai is not very familiar with him, which is quite interesting. Okay. But he's one of my favorite filmmakers actually, Tarkovsky, because I feel like he's more than a filmmaker, right? He's more of a... He's more of a philosopher and more of a thinker, right? And he's someone who makes films, right? This is how I would describe him, right? And the movie that my favorite movie that he makes is, is called Tarkovsky. It's called The Stalker, right? And have you watched it, Egon?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I probably have watched most of these films, but I forgot it was like...
Dude, this is one of those films that you could watch and you could still talk about what happened in the film for like an entire week, It's because everything in the film, just like what you were talking about, I can very much relate, which is everything in the film has a meaning, right? Like every little move, every little, piece of dialogue, every little, prop or costume, everything in the movie has a meaning and it spots the light on something bigger and larger. Right. And at the same time, the overall picture, the overall goal of the film is I feel like the story is very nice. It talks, for instance, about it talks about theology, for instance, like whether existence of God, and a lot of it comes like every character is kind of like leads towards that, like it gives like it contributes to the discussion of that, you know. And I find it to be so interesting because like there's a lot of like the movies are rich, you know, and I really like movies that are rich, right? And this goes back to the idea of like rich media and kind of media that is I would say like quote unquote silly, you know. A lot of like movies that superhero movies that you'd watch nowadays, it's very superficial, it's two-dimensional, you know. You would watch it and you would like hit a block because you don't see beyond the character. And especially like what you talked about, like the character development is very weak, right? The character is two-dimensional, you cannot relate to him, you know. He's just a hero and that's it. And that's what I like, the opposite of that I find in the Stalker, right? Because the characters themselves are very, 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 very rich. And so basically the story is that there's this guy who's it's like kind of I don't want to say a spy, but he's someone who like takes people from one place to another, and he basically like there's this place called the Zone where all your desires and wishes come true. And this guy takes with him so the main character takes with him two people, right? He wants a scientist and a poet, right? And on this journey to that place, the Zone, they discover a lot of things and they have a lot of discussions, and everything they talk about is very much spot on into today's world, right? It's very much like you while you're listening to the dialogue, you're thinking about like, what does this guy mean actually in reality, or what does that thing mean, right? And what does their discussion mean? What does the whole thing mean? And you would talk about it, like you would think about it and talk about it for quite a long time, and it would just never finish, you know. Every time you would see something, you would like notice something else that you haven't noticed before, you know. And I quite love that about this film. And that's why I think it's one of my favorite films ever. And I haven't seen that kind of depth in other movies, you know. And yeah, that's why I like it.
I mean, definitely Tarkovsky is another level. I mean,
dude, he's incredible. Like even the shots, he holds on them very long.
That's what I was gonna say. And the shots are like already a painting.
He's also.
What are the other films that he has though? I'm really curious.
He has Andrei Rublev, he has Solaris, he has a lot of other films that are quite famous actually.
Tarkovsky. Oh, he's from Russia, yeah.
Yeah, and also his compositions are fucking crazy, dude.
Crazy good.
Ridiculous. And yeah.
No, but you know what's the thing?
He's a master of time as well. Yeah.
I think Tarkovsky I mean he also inspires a lot of students, and it leads their project downwards because they try to be so poetic and it was this, it was that, what do we know?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
yeah,
I mean, no misunderstanding, but I see a lot of students trying to do his style and they completely fail, right?
But, because it's very hard, it's not easy.
Exactly. Like
it's very hard.
Hitchcock is amazing, and the Stanley Kubrick is also amazing, but Tarkovsky is another thing. Like I definitely agree with you.
Probably like the film that he makes is just like the surface of what's going through his mind, you know. Like if you're trying to imitate him, you probably need to know, you have to have like the same level of his thinking before you start to make a film like his.
Yeah. That's why I think he's more than a filmmaker. He's also a philosopher and a thinker.
Definitely.
Well, I guess that's about it with the podcast. Agon, thank you very much for coming on, and
thank you.
I'm sure we can do much more episodes together, man. I think we should
definitely.
I really enjoyed
Thank you so much
we can
for
definitely
the invitation.
take more different topics.